Hello, Mr. Chen. Now we would like to start our group presentation of our game design. So first, let's talk about our teammate. I am Lin Haoyun.
I am Liu Si.
I am Zhen Lingfeng.
I am Yang Yuchao.
I'm Liu Liheng.
Okay, so now I would like to talk about the main idea of our game. It is about the adventure of the student. So our story will start in and she will train herself to learn how to move comfortably, and then she will go to the cram school so that she can have some challenges when she go to the cram. To finish her homework, she will try to catch as much homework as she could. After that, she will face to director and of teaching and the discipline. Finally, she will fight with the examination and finish her learning journal. In the first level, actually, in the first level, let me share my screen. In the first level, the students start in the playground, which will make her face a lot of balls, such as there were basketball, baseball, soccer, like. So the students will make some basic movement to elude or wipe out of the balls, and this is the chance for the challengers to be familiar with the method of movement. The player will know the basic operation of the controlling, like jump, turn right, turn left, and double jump. So the student cannot hit the ball. Once she hit the ball, she will be hurt and drop one blood. When her blood was deduced to zero, she will not have the strength to leave the playground. So to finish this level, the player should control the student to squash all the balls or these four balls to make sure there were no challenges, and then she should jump to the door, like in this component she should jump to the door because this is the skipping class, so that she would have to keep away from the inspection. In this component, she will keep away from the inspection of the monitoring, so that when she jumped to this platform, there were a risk of monitoring. If she was caught by the monitoring, she will be called back to school once she arrived this door. So this will use the double jump once she arrived the door, so that she can get out of the playground, so that she can get into the next level. So
Okay,
now,
uh, let me share my screen. Hey, in the level two, the level two happens in the school. At the start, the player is in the corridor. The first goal is going back to the classroom, but there are some enemies in the corridor. Dogs will chase the player and bite the player. When the player is beaten, the health will be reduced. If the health value becomes zero, it will be the game over. So the player needs to keep away from dogs and escape from their bites and cross the corridor to the classroom door. After the player gets into the classroom, there will be two NPCs, the classmate and group, the group leader. The group leader says that the teacher asked the player to meet him in his office because the player did not finish the homework on time. But the classmate wants the player to have fun with him. Now the goal will change to reaching the office. The challenge is that the player has to fight with the classmate. The classmate will shoot a toy gun, and the player can pick up another toy gun to fight back. As long as defeating the classmate, the player can leave the classroom and go to find the teacher. And when the player is in the office, the teacher will reprimand and keep nagging to the player. His words will become bullets The player has to avoid being shot by bullets and find a way to defeat the teacher. There are some cactus-potted plants in the office, and they can cause damage to the teacher. The player can pick them up and throw it to the teacher, and when hitting the teacher, the cactus items won't disappear, so that they can be picked up repeatedly. After defeating him, the player can pass this level and go to the next one.
So next I will talk about the third level, and I will share my screen now. Okay. So the story of this level is that the player want to copy the homework of her classmates. She needs to collect enough exercise book in the first room, and then she will be chased by classmates in the second room. After she escapes from those classmates, she can go home and copy homework. The movement mechanism of the player and the NPC is that each step of the player or NPCs will also move 1.2 steps along the same direction, which means the player are faster than the NPCs are faster than the player. For example, if the player moves 2 grids to the right, and all NPCs will move 2.4 grids to the right too. And what I said is the most important mechanism in this level, that all NPCs will move together with the player, not only this one, but all NPCs. So you can also see there are green, blue, and orange lock blocks on the map, which will disappear if the player step on the trigger. You can see this is one of the trigger. Then the NPCs trapped in those blocks can come out and move. And you can see there are 2 stages in this level. The goal of the first stage is to grab at least 10 exercise book NPCs before reaching the end of this room. When the player and the NPC stand on the same block, the NPC is caught by the player, and you can see there are many windows in this level. So if the NPCs stand on the block with a window, the exercise book NPC will disappear. I think this can be explained as a book was blown away by the wind. If too many NPCs escape, the game will be over. So the player has to think about each step how to move. Not only that, if there are no obstacles between the player and the NPC, every once in a while, the NPC will launch a remote attack on the player, and the player needs to stop moving and hold down the right mouse button to defend. Of course, there are some small heart-shaped blocks in the map, like this one. So it can heal the player's health. If the player runs out of the health, the game will over too. So you can see this is a difficult game. So now let's move to the second stage. You can see it is similar to the first stage, but actually they are different in mechanism. The goal of the second stage is to reach the end and not be caught by any classmate NPCs. This is one of our classmates. Like the action of book NPCs, the classmates NPC can also launch the ranged attack on the player. If the player is caught by a classmate or run out of the health, the game will over. And you can see it is not only important to think carefully about the load, but also the time to move is important too. So this is the end of explanation of this level.
Okay, I will show you the level 4. Okay, then we come to the level 4. In this level, the player will go to the school and overcome the challenges about extra tutoring. And the goal of this level is to collect several books like this, and defeat enemies, and upgrade, and finally go to the top floor and talk with the NPC there, and to pass this level. There are two main challenges in this level. One is to collect all of the books. Some books are hidden, and it's hard to find them. And the second challenge is to defeat the enemies in the map, so that the player can reach the top floor. And the character that the player can operate is the student. The player can control the character to move left, right, and jump. The character has its health and the magic. The health will decrease when the character be hit by the enemy, and the magic will decrease when the when the player use some special skills. And the character has no weapons and skill originally, but it will be given some gold, and so that the player can buy the first weapons from the merchant. As the level rise, the health and magic selling of the player will also increase. And then she will learn some skills when she reach some level. And for the NPCs, there are 4 NPC in the map. 1, 2, 3, 4. And all of them are the classmates of the players, which will help her to go past the level. And the NPC in the first level is a merchant. She will provide some weapons that the player can use, and the drug that can recover the health and magic of the player. But all of them need to be exchanged by exchange using using some gold. And NPC in the second and the third floor, they will provide the player some props, and some of them will teach the player some new skills. And the NPC on the top floor is the NPC that to deliver the props. The player should collect all of the props required and deliver them to the NPC, so that she will let you pass to the next level. And there are many enemies in the map, such as the teachers, the exercise book, and papers here, and also the students. Um, they have different skills, and the difficulty of each floor increase. And the player should use the skill and weapon wisely, so that they can defeat them. And they will provide some drugs and gold when they are defeated. And for the props, the main props of this level is the books, which is the task that required by the NPC. And there are also some treasure books, such as these two. They will provide some special reward to the player. And the player pass the level when she collects all of the books and deliver them to the NPC on the top floor, and lose when the health decrease to 0. And this is all of my levels. Next, Liu Heng will talk about the final level.
Okay. My level is the 5th level and it's also the last level of the game. The environment I set is at front of the school and still in the campus. The buildings, plants, clouds, bridges, and even waterfall are included. Character can walk on the ground, cross the bridge and climb the house, or even jump to the clouds. With the terrain, the game will become more interesting and challenging. In this level, character will face the most powerful boss, the test paper monster, but now I haven't put it here. Both character and boss have the health, which initially set to 100. However, only the boss has armor. Character can injure the boss only if its armor is broken. Character may throw books or pencils to attack the boss, and boss can attack the character by launching a cross, which is a signal. If the injury that boss suffer is up to an extent, it will drop some ticks. If the character picks the ticks, he will regain some certain amount of health. When character hit by the cross, his health will reduce by 10 points. When character's health is less than 60, his moving speed will be slower, and when his health reduced to 0, this game level will be over and he has to quit or decide whether to play. The same thing for the way to win is the character has to attack the boss effectively and make its health reduced to 0. However, when the boss health is less than the 50, it will go into an angry state. In this angry state, the move speed of boss will be faster and the frequency of its attack will be higher. Meanwhile, at this stage, boss will not drop any tick to the ground, and no matter how much injury that he suffers. Therefore, character cannot regain any health, and it is harder for character to win the game at this stage. If the character finally vanquishes the boss, he will graduate from the school and leave the game. So that's all for our game.